Alright, we are back here today with another ranking video. Today we're going to be ranking all the movies from the year 2003. I've done the year 2000, 2001, and 2002 up until this point. So if you want to see those, go ahead to the channel, look for them. They're literally not that far back, unless you're watching this years from now, and then good luck. Hopefully they're in the nearby videos. But no, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna rank movies from the year 2003. We're gonna have some fun doing it. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen from the year 2003. I was what, 4 when this movie came out. So, when these movies came out. So, let's go ahead and take a look-ski at these guys, see what's up. All right, so pretty early on, there's a ton of stuff on the website already. I haven't seen any of the ones on the screen in the haven't seen section. Everything else throughout this video will be at least an F. So let's go ahead and start it. Alright, so we're going to start with Too Fast, Too Furious, obviously the sequel to the original Fast and Furious movie. And this movie, to me, is mid, you know? It's kind of just a Paul Walker movie. There is no Vin Diesel. It's not anything, it's not anything what the first movie was, and it wasn't it for me, you know? We're introduced to characters that stay in the series throughout the entire thing, but it's just one of the weaker ones, in my opinion. I enjoy the Fast and Furious movies because you could turn off your brain and just watch stupidity, and that's marvelous. I mean, every movie has a space, and Fast and Furious franchise is that turn off the brain kind of energy, and this one, it's not good. It's mid at best. I watch it simply because I need to watch every movie in a franchise when watching a franchise. We've got Agent Cody Banks. This movie, I remember this from my childhood being really, really good. I haven't seen it in a while, though, so we're going to throw it in mid just because it's been a long time since I've seen it. Like I said, we're going to keep it mid just because it's been probably 7 years since I've seen it last. I do not own it, but maybe I'll have to buy it, and I think there's a sequel as well that I'll have to buy both of them, so. Move on, we've got American Splendor. This is a surprising one. I picked this one up there's this like place you can buy stuff real cheap. It's called Ollie's where I live, and it's like good stuff cheap is their logo or their slogan. I'm sorry. It's mid at best. It's mid, low mid. But it was Paul Giamatti, and I was interested, and it was HBO, and it's mid. It's a mid movie. We've got Whoa, we're grabbing the wrong thing. What is going on? We've got American Wedding. Guys, this is the first one going in A tier. American Wedding was a great movie. Part of that original 4 quadrilogy of the American Pie films where we've got, our main group of guys and gals. This was a fantastic film. I watch it all the time. The American Pie quadrilogy is great. Excellent. Anger Management, Adam Sandler, and Jack Nicholson. Guys, this is like I'll put it in A tier. Anger Management was an incredible comedy. 2 incredible actors. It is genuinely perfect. They couldn't have made it 10 years before. They couldn't have made it 10 years after. They made it at the perfect time, and it is a great movie. All right, Bad Santa. I'm going to put Bad Santa in, like, mid-tier, just because it's, like, it's a Christmas movie, but it's also a raunchy movie, and it's like, I don't want to watch a raunchy movie around Christmas time, because Christmas time is when I'm with my family and stuff, and it's like, I want to watch, a family movie, and it's like, mid. It's not even all that incredible, and then they went and made a sequel, like, a decade later. It's whatever. Alright, guys, we've got Brother Bear, and this movie is, like, S to A tier. I was a child when this year was 2003. I was a little boy. Brother Bear is incredible. I'm gonna throw it in A tier, 100% A tier. I don't think it's S tier, but it's definitely A tier. So right now, shit, C and A are the only ones with anything in it. Maybe 2003 was just a really mid year, but Bruce Almighty is S tier. Bruce Almighty is an incredible comedy. Whether you like Jim Carrey or not, this was a movie that worked. It was great. It sprung a massive sequel years later, But it was a great movie, and I really truly to this day could watch it and enjoy it. So yeah. So we got Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, guys. I don't know about you, but this isn't for me. I'm throwing that in D tier. I own Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, and it's just they're not it for me. I don't know. Charlie's Angels is like annoying to me in a way. I don't know. But we've got Cheaper by the Dozen. This movie right here, guys. S tier. Disney Plus just remade Cheaper by the Dozen, and it made me so mad because this movie was so good. You can't remake something this great. And now the remaking of Cheaper by the Dozen, it's all right, but it's not superior to this one. This is S tier forever, baby. S tier forever. Steve Martin is just perfect in the role. The kids, there's so many great young actor and actresses that are a part of this cast. It's just phenomenal. I love it. They work together so well. It really makes them seem like a discombobulated family. It's great. It is genuinely awesome. Another movie I grew up loving. This is S tier for me. Daddy Daycare. I remember being a little kid and watching this movie, and in the very beginning, it's the song "Walking on Sunshine" by Katrina and the Waves, and how every time it stops when Eddie Murphy's son in the movie, he's peeing in the potty, he wakes up, it stops, and then when he finishes, it starts singing again, and it's hilarious to me to this day because it reminds me of when I was little, finding that hilarious. And so this is a movie that I could put on at any time at 22 years old, and I feel like I'm a little kid again because it's such a good movie. Absolutely classic, great movie. We love that. Especially because the year before, Pluto Nash was not it for Eddie. So Eddie Murphy, cheers to you, bud. I will raise my Arizona. Good job. You came back. You came back strong. All right, so up next we've got Daredevil, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, and everybody that talks about this movie is either, oh, everybody shits on this movie too much, or oh, this movie freaking sucks. So it's either the people that are like, it's an S tier movie, or it's the people that are like, F tier, F tier. Guys, you have to realize this is 2003. We have no idea how superhero movies really work that well. Spider-Man was like insane how good of a movie it was. Like, we didn't know, like that movie got lucky. All right, it really did, because superhero movies, no one knew what we were doing at that point. I'm putting it Daredevil in B because I enjoy it more than all the movies I've put it mid. You have to watch the the director's cut to enjoy it. They cut like, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes out of it or something like that. It is a great movie for the time it was made, and everybody hates on it for the wrong reasons. It's like, it is a good movie. It's not incredible, but it's not mid. We got Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd. This is the prequel to Dumb and Dumber. Guys, this is an E. This movie is easily just horrible. I mean, god awful, stupid, dumb, idiotic, and why do I own it? I got it for free. Much unlike the movie I was talking about earlier, this movie is an S tier Christmas film. Elf is incredible. Bad Santa is everything Elf isn't. Elf is a family friendly with, some adult jokes thrown in there. Awesome holiday family fun film. Will Ferrell, some of my family find him very annoying, and he gets a little annoying at times, but this movie is great. It's perfect. It is wonderfully directed, incredibly casted. The settings are awesome. It's so well done that 20 years later, it's still a great movie. It holds up. It's awesome. Elf is genuinely one of the best Christmas movies out there. I mean, when you talk to people around Christmas time, you go, oh, what's your favorite holiday movie? What's your favorite Christmas movie? Elf is usually one of the top 3 that come out of people's mouths, along with Home Alone and Christmas Vacation. Final Destination 2, guys. Final Destination was an incredible movie, and this movie followed up incredibly. This is S tier Final Destination 2. So people always say whenever those big trucks with the logs in it are going by on like a road, they're like, "Oh, this is Final Destination." It's not. It's Final Destination 2. The second one is what brings that fear into the world, and it makes for a great movie. It is an awesome sequel, S tier for sure. One of the great movies of the time. It definitely set up the franchise to continue. It was a good movie. It was a good sequel, and I'm glad that it exists. Finding Nemo, guys, S tier. Pixar really hit the nail on the head. Incredible movie. Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. I loved this movie growing up. But growing up, you're kind of, you see things and you're like, hey, that was awesome. And then you grow up and then you see it again and you're like, oh, I see the errors in this movie. I would say this movie is probably a low A to a B. We're going to put it in B tier. It is a good movie. It's just not the greatest. But I do enjoy the movie, and it is a childhood favorite of mine, actually. So, yeah. I am a massive slasher fan. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, two of my favorite franchises ever. And this is the culmination of the two. Freddy versus Jason. I love the battle scene at the end. I love the ending. I hate the acting. I hate the choices they gave for actors. I hate that they got rid of Kane Hodder as Jason. It really ruined this movie. The main girl sucked at acting. The movie was terrible. And Robert Englund was put in the middle of a fucking shit fest. This movie is D tier. I hate this movie, but I love this movie because of one scene and one scene only. And it's the very end of the movie. When they fight. And that's literally all this movie. That's the only thing that mattered about it. Otherwise, this movie sucked. Holes is a movie from my childhood that is incredible. This is easily A tier. I'm not throwing it in S tier, but A tier for sure. It's right up there with Anger Management, American Wedding, Brother Bear. A tier all day. House of a Thousand Corpses isn't something I've seen until I was obviously older. It is a solid movie, though. A great horror film for the time. A tier. I would still say Final Destination 2 is superior just because it was, it's still more widely known simply because whenever you're behind a car with the wood, people know it. But House of a Thousand Corpses is awesome. It's got a young Chris Hardwick. It's got a young Rainn Wilson. Great movie, awesome movie, and Rob Zombie, of course, directed it and has made it a trilogy, which we'll obviously hit the two other films as we go on in time. But House of a Thousand Corpses is a great movie. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This movie is mid. 100% mid. I can't get into it. I don't enjoy it. I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. It's just, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I really enjoy this one. I'm not. So, yeah. So this is 2003's Hulk. Not the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton. Just 2003's Hulk. This isn't anything with MCU at all. This movie is mid. C tier. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like I said with Daredevil, it's just unfortunate the time that the movies were made because really nobody knew what the hell they were doing with superhero movies. And it's just really rare that Spider-Man was such the success that it was. Because up until this point, the only superheroes that really got a successful movie was Batman and Superman. And then Spider-Man came out of nowhere and they were like, boom, baby. And so Marvel, of course, trying to get with Daredevil and Hulk, and they both kind of flopped compared to Spider-Man. Alright, so we have Jeepers Creepers 2. I believe I put the first one in B tier. Don't quote me, but the second one is definitely B tier. It is enjoyable. It's just not A tier quality. It's a good sequel, a very good sequel, actually. It's just, I feel like Final Destination and House of a Thousand Corpses are the superior horror films. And, yeah. And Freddy vs. Jason, realistically, is also, I feel like, probably one of the best that year. It probably beat out 90% of these movies box office-wise. I'm not too sure. But it probably box office. If we're going by box office, Freddy vs. Jason probably dominated every other movie that year, horror wise. But it's not a great film, so it's D tier. You know, it is what it is. But moving on, we've got Johnny English, and this movie it's all right. I enjoy it. I mean, Rowan Atkinson's fantastic. You know, we're gonna go ahead and throw it in B tier. This and its sequel, they're both kind of above mid to mid tier, and it's just like they're enjoyable to watch once in a while, I guess. Kangaroo Jack is a movie I saw in theaters, and it's actually one of the first movies I saw in theaters that I remember seeing. Um, when you're young, you kind of forget what came first a lot of the time, and this might be one of the first movies I ever went to see. Um, because it's 2003. I remember seeing it in theaters. So I was like 4 years old, right? So I remember it was me and my siblings and my father, and I remember eating Twizzlers. My dad went and got Twizzlers after Kangaroo Jack ate a Twizzler, and we were all like, I'm Kangaroo Jack, you know, like a goofball. But this movie is definitely like D tier, maybe E tier. This movie sucks. Really, it does. It did not age well at all, at all. Alright guys, I'm about to do this film justice. Looney Tunes Back in Action is A tier, and honestly, the only reason that it's getting shit on is because it's not as good as Space Jam. Nothing will be as good as Space Jam. Space Jam is above S tier. That shit is like S++. Alright? Space Jam is incredible. Looney Tunes Back in Action, though, is an incredible film. I mean, Brendan Fraser, Jenna Elfman, Steve Martin, we got all the awesome Looney Tunes. Daffy Duck shows up as Duck Dodger at one point, which obviously allowed the Duck Dodgers TV show to light up at the same time. We get little, cameos from guys like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. The movie is an incredible one, and people just shit on it because, I don't know, fuck the Looney Tunes? Who knows? A tier, Looney Tunes Back in Action, it got so much hate when it first came out. But now that the generation that was young is old enough to be like, yo, fuck you old people that hated on this movie, I'm coming back and I'm saying this movie is great. It's a great movie. Alright, so Lost in Translation is a fantastic film. I didn't see it obviously until maybe the last year or two. And I've only seen it that one time. I was really fascinated with it. It was an interesting film. I don't know where I would throw it. It's obviously not like as well known as a lot of the S or the A tier. I'm gonna go ahead and say I would probably throw it in A tier. It's pretty good. Like, it's not like a big Hollywood budget, like, go see this massive, incredible movie. But it's Bill Murray. It takes place, obviously, it's not in the United States. Was it Japan? I can't remember entirely. I believe it was an Asian country. Let me just double check. So Lost in Translation, like I said, it takes place in Japan, and he meets this American woman, and they're like, oh, well, I'm here alone, and you're here alone. Let's hang out and be alone together in this big city. And it is phenomenally performed by both the lead actor and actress, and it's enjoyable. Love Actually is pretty good. I would say A tier. It's a fun movie. I've only seen it twice, but I feel like it's superior to the B tier. All right, Matrix Reloaded. This movie sucks. I can't stand this movie. This is E tier. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, no. Matrix Reloaded is E tier for sure. I can't stand it, and I didn't even know this. Revolution or whatever it's called was made the same freaking year. This one sucks too. So F tier. All right, F tier. Up next, we've got Old School, which is a Will Ferrell comedy. I feel like this is mid to B. Me personally, I feel like it's mid. So C tier. It's good, but it's not incredible. It's not like something I would purposely go out of my way to watch. Piglet's Big Movie. It's not as good as the Tigger movie. I'm saying it's a B tier. It's all right. It's a fun time. It's just not anything spectacular. It's not the Finding Nemos of the world. So Piglet's Big Adventure, I'm sorry, Piglet's Big Movie is all right. It's an okay one. Pirates of the Caribbean and the Curse of the Black Pearl. This is the movie that started the entire franchise, and it is S tier. This movie was huge, 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 huge. Disney at the time, they were trying to make a bunch of movies based on rides inside their park, and here it is, Pirates of the Caribbean. We got Jack Sparrow, played by Johnny Depp. We have an incredible, incredible cast. Incredible characters, awesome music, awesome settings, fantastic all the way around. The first one is S tier forever. Rugrats Go Wild is Rugrats meet the Wild Thornberrys, and this movie I would say is like B tier. I watched it about 6 months ago. It's a fun movie. It's just not incredible. I think the most remembering thought that was lingering in my brain while watching the movie is Spike ends up learning how to speak because he's around Eliza from the Wild Thornberrys, and she obviously could hear animals. So Spike has a voice, and that was cool. So that's like the big thing I remember. Alright, so Scary Movie 3 is where the franchise started to lose its momentum. This is a B tier. The first and second were awesome movies. The third one is like, okay, calm down. We're getting so many so fast, and they're mocking other horror films that were big at the time. And so it's just, things are getting a little out of hand a little too quickly. They should have not made so many all at once, but they did. So, I mean, this is literally, 3 and 4 years? Something like that? That's insane. That's ridiculous. So, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, but School of Rock is mid. It really is. I love Jack Black. I enjoy him. But School of Rock is... I don't know if it just aged badly or if I just don't understand it. I don't know. But I watched it maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I was like, this sucks. I don't get it. Like, it's mid-tier. Like, it's not that great. I don't know. I really don't know. That's my opinion. Spy Kids 3 or Spy Kids 3D. This movie, alright, I said it. Growing up is realizing Spy Kids is all bad. But I lied, because Spy Kids 3D has a special place in my heart to the point where it's a C tier and not a D tier. So Spy Kids 3 is the favorite of mine out of the trilogy. It's still mid-tier film. I mean, how could a movie... Honestly, the only reason it's a C tier is because it's got the guy in it. The guy. Elijah Woods. For 5 seconds. Fantastic. Alright, so we've got a comedy, Stuck on You. I personally am not a massive fan. I would probably say D tier. Yeah, not a huge fan of it. Guys, The Cat in the Hat is S tier. All right, no, there's nothing past it. All right, it's okay. Universal's gone. Cat in the Hat is fucking F tier, guys. It's F tier. This movie sucks. There's genuinely, the storyline is all over the walls. The acting at some points is atrocious. Honestly, this movie was created because Grinch was so successful with Jim Carrey, and they were like, hey, Mike Myers, play the Cat in the Hat. And he was like, I don't want to do it. And they were like, fucking do it. And he was like, but I don't want to. And they were like, fucking do it. And he was like, all right, well, I'm going to mess it up. And the movie was horrible. Haunted Mansion, much like Pirates of the Caribbean, it's a movie based on a ride, and this one sucks. It's D tier. maybe even E. We're going to put it in E. It's not good. So Eddie Murphy, how are you going to do Daddy Daycare and Haunted Mansion? And just, they're total opposites, dude. It's rough. It's rough out here, my boy. Us Eddie's got to stick together, honest to God. Alright, The Italian Job, I'm not a massive action fan. And so when action movies really get to me, they get to me. And I will rank them accordingly. But this movie is a B tier at best. It really is. It's just not as incredible as some people believe it is. And that's what I'm here for. I think certain movies are better than others entirely, and that's why you see a lot of action stuff lower on my list, because I find action to be one of the lowest forms of entertainment. I really do. And so when I put an action film high, it's because it's genuinely great content. We got The Jungle Book 2, the sequel like 40 years later. This movie is D tier. It's not good. Don't watch it. I only own it because I'm crazy. Okay, let's move on. The Lizzie McGuire movie, obviously based on the TV show. Hilary Duff, massive, massive Disney star. This movie, I want to put it in B tier. It's enjoyable. It is. But I prefer Cadet Kelly over the Lizzie McGuire movie. So I wonder what year was Cadet Kelly made. Of course, we have Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. It's S tier. There's nothing else to it. S tier. Return of the King, come on. Incredible. S tier. I think all three Lord of the Rings were in S tier. Guys, we have notoriously the worst movie of all time, The Room, and we are going to put it in F. We get the reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel, I believe. This movie was actually solid. We're going to put it in A. I'm almost positive that that's the one with Jessica Biel. We're going to go ahead and make sure, but fantastic film. All right, so we have one last movie that I've seen from the year 2003, and it is the original Wrong Turn. Guys, I'm not going to lie. This is my rankings, all right? This isn't like, what I think the movie's rank is compared to you. It is my personal. These movies are in my personal ranking. Wrong Turn is S tier. It really is. And I'll tell you why. Because this movie was such a hit at the time. It sparked 5 sequels and now a reboot. And now, did they get horrible? Yes, they did. But the original is really, really, really good. Watch it. Check it out. But that's everything I know about the year 2003. So that's my rankings from S to F. And I hope you enjoyed, because that's all I've got for you. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you with the 2003 movie rankings. 2004 movie rankings will be out very, very soon, as promised. I'm going all the way to 2022. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. That way you're notified every time my videos are uploaded. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.